the 14th of July, and it's 1400 hours Central African time. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Market View. We start a brand new week and we hope we are coming back with blessings and we're ready to take on this new week. On Market View today, we break down the latest figures from the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade's first quarter performance report. It articulates over 900 new companies that have been registered, more than 7,000 trading licenses that have been issued, all pointing to a steady hum of entrepreneurial journey across the country. Now, we want to interrogate what the numbers reveal about the state of our business climate and how is the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade positioning itself to support small enterprises more efficiently and effectively. Rulegi Dlamini, the Director of MSMEs, will unpack the trends, the policies, as well as the road ahead. Before that, we want to look at our business news, so let's get straight to it. On our first story today, the CEO of the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority, Sibani Ngomezulu, says the trade fair is pivotal and it's a very crucial platform to showcase Eswatini's products. Speaking when virtually addressing this year's fair exhibitors at Mavuso on Monday, he says this trade fair is a golden opportunity for local businesses to expand their reach, encouraging all exhibitors to leverage the fair partnerships. Ngomezulu also announced that the official opening of the 57th edition of the country's International Trade Fair will be held on the 6th of September.
This year's EITF represents a new phase of our evolution. The organizing team has worked tirelessly to reimagine the exhibition experience, not only as a commercial platform, but as a vibrant ecosystem where businesses thrive, partnerships bloom, and well-being is championed. We're excited to introduce 3 transformative additions to the exhibition program, and we encourage you to take full advantage of these opportunities. The first is Fit Friday. This is a dedicated wellness initiative designed with you in mind. We know how demanding preparation for the AITF has become, so we're actually offering you as exhibitors the opportunity to connect with us, recharge and energize through well-guided wellness activities. And this is going to take place on the first day of the EITF. Remember that being a strong business is accompanied with you being a healthy exhibitor. The second one is network mixers. You have a golden opportunity to host your own cocktail-style networking sessions. Let your brand speak not only through your stand, but through meaningful conversations. These mixers will help bridge gaps between exhibitors and customers, spark collaboration, and unlock fresh ideas. The third is the Business Hub. We are proud to unveil a new space for knowledge sharing and capacity building. Exhibitors may utilize the Business Hub to host seminars, presentations, and in fact share your expertise and showcase your industry leadership and attract new audiences eager to learn from your success. The official celebration of 57 years of the Eswatini International Trade Fair will this year take place on the 6th of September 2025.
Well, the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority today convened a crucial meeting with exhibitors in preparation for the upcoming trade fair. Now, the engagement aimed to outline key logistics, opportunities, expectations for participating businesses, as well as to finalize plans for the upcoming fair.
The Eswatini International Trade Fair is expected to have over 270 exhibitors, including international participants. While the trade fair promises significant opportunities, exhibitors have expressed concerns over logistical challenges, particularly setup procedures and technical issues with the fair's digital platform, some of which these businesses fear could hinder their ability to network effectively with potential investors.
This is a request, maybe say crasha le system sekufika lelanga leku ngena kwalaba lesibaletha ku contact abasakhona ingena because le system even glitches.
I have a request, probably if maybe bekungaba nendlela yokuthi maybe for those bekungaba nekokuthi kubakakale ukuthi maybe bebanga accommodate kanjani. Thank you.
Kulomhla ka-6 batawadzinga lama extra tags or batawufika nje bangena bangenteka ukhanza ukuthi bo MD sengibo laba noma bo board chair labatawukhulumela asekunengwenyama.
For most organizations, the teams will vary. They will vary by day, they will vary by week, because you can't have the same people speaking to, the clients the whole time. So how do you then address the issue around the tax and even the opening?
In response, the Eswatini International Trade Fair focal person Sipesihle Nkabinze reiterated that APA is committed to a seamless fair, urging exhibitors to submit feedback through official channels.
Just make sure that you talk to the stand manager, just let him know or let her know that my CEO will be coming through or my board chair will be coming through at a certain date, so that maybe we can arrange for them to come into the Nazangan as full of Lego VIP, Lego parking a pan, but we arrange goes cards at designated spots. When you make that application, basically we allocate tags according to your floor space.
The annual fair will feature exhibitors in sectors across agriculture, manufacturing and tourism, among others. The International Trade Fair is set to take place next month from the 29th of August to the 7th of September. For Market View, Notsile Sithole, Vumingo Sinzinisa and Derek Msibi, Manzini.
All right, that marks the end of our business news segment. We have Mluleki Dlamini, the Director of MSMEs, after the break.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.za.
Welcome back. This is our Enterprise Watch segment. Now we want to look at this number, 919 new companies that are registered in the country in the first quarter of the 2025-2026 financial year. It's contained in the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade's first quarter performance report, which was presented in Parliament last week. Now, among other key developments within the country's commercial landscape, it says that 54 companies were deregistered and over 7,200 trading licenses were issued, as well as 104 liquor licenses that were processed. Now, these are figures that speak to business growth as well as economic activity in the country. Hence, we are now joined by the Director of MSME in the Ministry of Commerce, Mluleki Dlamini, who's going to shed light on what this means for the investment climate in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Nkosi, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Fiso.
Thank you for joining us here. I understand you've been doing the runaround in the country, preparing for the EAs. But these numbers here, they caught our attention as the newsroom, and we want to understand what they mean, particularly just looking at this figure, 990 new companies in a single quarter. That is very impressive.
Yes.
What stands out to you about this figure in terms of, sectoral trends and our regional spread?
Yeah, no, definitely these are very impressive figures. I will want to quote from the FinScope survey, which basically indicates that by 2023, businesses that are formally registered now in the country are 68,000. So as compared to 2017, which we had about 59,000. So it's not a significant increase, but definitely we see that there's a lot of entrepreneurship activity happening in the country. And we understand that a majority of those are in the retail business, because around 43% of that figure is basically the retail sector, which shows that most of them, yes, are coming through. Obviously, you did indicate that some of them are being deregistered. So basically, it shows that in some instances there are business failures that happen along the way.
And we will get to, the deregistration of some of these businesses, but another number that is quite impressive is the 7,200 trading licenses, as well as the 104 liquor licenses. It's another impressive volume. I mean, you've highlighted that, looking at the previous figure that we were just talking to, that increase is marginal, so to speak. What does this tell us, these new figures, about, the appetite for formalizing business, especially among MSMEs?
Yeah, really, this is impressive, because we see more and more businesses formalizing due to financial support. Their formalization is linked to the programs that we do as a ministry to ensure that there is access to finance. So part of the eligibility for this support will be registration. So that is why you see more businesses now are coming through and being registered, and now using formal banking systems.
This perspective I want to understand, because we are seeing this momentum for Eswatini's broader investment climate. And how is the ministry tracking and responding to these challenges?
Yes, normally you find that these are maybe businesses that had problems, mismanagement of funds, and what we're doing to address that is to look at ways in which we can mentor businesses and also intervene in the operations and assist them where possible in terms of finance, if maybe that business is lacking in that particular aspect. But what stands out is an issue of coaching and mentoring.
100%. And I'm not complaining at all, because in business you win some, you lose some. And we're talking over 900 registrations and just 50 deregistrations. So it's a win if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. Let's talk efficiency in registering and licensing. That becomes very critical. You've spoken before about what you like to talk about, digital transformation.
Yes.
Is the ministry working in streamlining businesses in this licensing processes particular?
Yes, definitely. Even now, the reservation that if we've got some investors coming through, we provide them with a seamless service.
Obviously, the entrepreneurs previously that have cited some bottlenecks, including some delays at municipal level, that's a thing of yesterday?
Definitely, yes. We've also said to our partners that they need to fast-track that, because we don't want to find us frustrating that process, because we want the registration to increase.
Let's talk policy and, some support measures that are there. You are under the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade at the end of the day, and legislation is critical there. Are there any specific incentives or support programs that are currently being rolled out to support these new businesses, especially in the priority sectors, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. As a ministry, we've got the MSME National Policy of 2024. Up to 2029. So basically it is one that will focus mainly into development of and we also make sure that we guarantee business loans with Central Bank under our guarantee facility, and that one also has a preferential interest rate.
Yeah. The big word when it comes to business is always sustainability. I mean, it can be feasible, it can be viable, but will it be sustainable, especially in these uncertain times where a lot is happening economically, geopolitically, socio-economically? How is the ministry ensuring that indeed these registrations do not just end at paperwork? What message, as a parting word from you, would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who may still be hesitant about entering the formal sector?
I can always say to them they should start. We are there to support them, because if they fear, they won't start.
Yeah.
So if they start, and whatever challenges they're faced with, that is where we come in and we provide that assistance they so require.
I know I said final, but I'm just realizing now you did mention that the sector that seems to be seeing the most appetite is the retail sector. are there any areas that they may want to, leverage? Because, seeing the trends as you guys study and, you're food soldiers, what other sectors should they leverage besides just retail?
It's agribusiness mainly in terms of value chains and value addition. So I would encourage businesses to go into that so that we don't tend to export raw material.
Absolutely.
We process, then we...
Issue of yesterday as we continue to progress forward. Let's go for a net break. We have Sanel Sbia, who joins us for our market analysis after the break.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.za.
Get ready, Eswatini. The Maban Municipality Council Spelling Bee is back live on Eswatini television.
Please spell the word fairness.
Fairness. Fairness.
Witness the spelling mastery, creativity, and determination of our youth as they compete for the top prize.
Please spell the word rebellious.
Rebellious. REBELLIOUS.
Don't miss it. Every Tuesday at 5 p.m. starting this July on Eswatini TV.
All right, as we get ready to walk us through our Zoom video link, we just want to take you through what we should expect. We are obviously seeing a dip across the U.S. as well as the European indices. So we should be hearing from Sanel Sbia, what is it that is causing this divergence in the investor sentiment across the regions right now. These are the numbers, so he's going to explain to us. As you can see, really evident divergence, all these indices in the red. And as we welcome, he's here, Sanel Sbia, very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. We are straight into our market analysis now. We're looking at the New York Stock Exchange, and if you will, just explain to us what is it that is causing this divergence.
Thank you, Mr. Ngumalo, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. So when we look at markets, Mr. Ngumalo, one thing that we're learning is the fact that the uncertainty over tariffs is actually just coming back into the markets right now. That is what we are seeing happening in today's trades, in the sense that we saw on Saturday President Trump saying he's going to impose 30% tariffs on goods from Europe and from Mexico come August 1, right? Because there's no deal between these two countries. So, and on the same token, we saw Europe coming with their retaliatory tariffs, which they said they were going to shelve until August 1 as well. So there is a bit of that uncertainty, and that's what markets are now really just looking into, and considering that August 1 is just a week away as of today. Probably next week it's going to be, next week or upper week, there's going to be August 1. And there are still no deals in sight. We know that there's still quite a heavy negotiation that's going on between the EU and the US. There's still quite a heavy negotiation that's going on between the US and Mexico, with Japan, with almost quite a number of the major countries. We only have 3 agreements, as it were. So that's what markets are now responding to, Mr. Ngumalo. We're seeing that effect coming into effect as of Friday last week. When you look at the Nasdaq losing some 45 points, and you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average losing some 279 points, and the S&P 500 still staying at that level of 6,200, but losing some 20.71 points. So that's basically what you'd call a relatively flat market without any major tick-ups and any major movements. And when you move into Europe, Mr. Ngumalo, you will see that London continues to edge closer to that 9,000 mark. So we're watching to see if the FTSE 100 is actually going to break that 9,000 mark. And they're now sitting at 8,976.55, gaining some 35.43 points in today's trade. And now, what really now makes London a bit different, Mr. Ngumaro, is the fact that the UK has a trade agreement with the US, so there are no uncertainties when it comes to trade between the US and London. So uncertainty is there, but it's kind of controlled because there is a blueprint, there is a deal that's already on the table that everyone is working around. But when you come into the major Europeans, Eurozone, there in Germany and in France, you'll see the numbers there showing a sign of some drawback, with the DAX in Frankfurt losing some 217 points in today's trade. And, when you go into Paris, we're losing some 35 points in today's trade. That's because we know that this direct onslaught on Europe is going to have a negative impact both on the Germans and also on the French and the broader Eurozone. So that's if there's no deal on the table. But we are waiting to see and watching those negotiations, Mr. Ngola, but it'll be very much unfortunate right now to see the US and the European Union going into into a trade war. I mean, it's quite manageable when we're managing just China and the US, but right now what President Trump is threatening to do might likely pull the European Union into a trade war with the the United States of America. And we've already seen the governor of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, making a case for why the euro should actually be a vehicle currency. So we're seeing those movements that are within the European markets. Coming into Asia, the uncertainty over Trump tariffs, with what we've seen happening on the euro markets, is also trickling into Asia. We know that Japan does not yet have a deal with the US, so that's why we're seeing those numbers are coming down, losing some 110 points on the Nikkei in today's trade. That's purely because we don't know what President Trump is going to wake up and say today. So every country that doesn't have a trade agreement with the US, as it were, is a bit jittery, and the markets are showing that. They're not really up for the risk. But when you come into the mainland and also into Hong Kong, we know that there is a trade relationship of sorts between Beijing and Washington, and also we know that Hong Kong is benefiting off of that. So that's why we're seeing those positive movements in the mainland and also in Hong Kong. And then when you come into South Africa again, you'll see the numbers are just also showing a negative picture. They're losing some 159 points. Remember last week, we closed very close to the 100,000 mark, but now we are some 3,000 points off of that mark. That's purely because, again, that tariff issue. And if you notice how it is now moving, we've seen Lesotho actually declaring unemployment with unemployment a national disaster. So that's how serious the tariffs are going to be for quite a number of these countries in terms of the impact. And then when you come into the Eswatini Stock Exchange, nothing has shifted on that front. And then when you look into commodities, gold has gained a bit today, getting back to $3,382 per ounce because of this uncertainty again. So gold always benefits of this uncertainty. Brent crude remaining steady there at 71.37. It seems to be finding an average right around that $70 mark, and we should expect it to come down back to say 68, 69 as the Middle East stabilizes and the whole supply side stabilizes in terms of fuel. And then in terms of the currencies, Mr. Ngumalo, no, the Lilangeni remains relatively stronger in today's trade because we know every time President Trump threatens tariffs, Mr. Ngumalo, it tends to weaken the dollar because people tend to move away and move their holdings away from the dollar, and emerging currency markets like ours tend to benefit off of that action. And right now, since the move seems to be targeting Europe, the euro has also gone into a bit of a freeze, and then as such, the Lilangeni actually also increased, gaining some 0.29% percentage points in today's trade. We also remain relatively stronger against the Japanese yen with some 0.25% gain.
Thank you for your time. Thank you to our viewers as well for staying with us here on Market View, the Monday edition. We hope that you enjoy the other programs brought to you by Eswatini TV. Have yourselves a good afternoon. Bye-bye.